Hello from Jonathan and from me. Welcome to Friday's programme.
Now, coming up later, a look ahead to Northampton Saints' big European Cup clash.
But first, more political big guns have been in the region today. None bigger than the Prime Minister, who was on the election trail in Stevenage.
Well, crime was high on Gordon Brown's agenda. He was accompanied by the mother of the murdered teenager, Sally-Ann Bowman, who's backing his DNA database plans.
Meanwhile, Lib Dem Treasury spokesman and Deputy Leader Vince Cable was in Cambridge. Matthew Hudson reports on day 4 of the campaign trail.
Lots of activities were open.
It would be a strange politician who didn't want to be associated with success, and the projects based around Stevenage's Oval Community Centre have reduced antisocial behaviour. So today the Prime Minister was in determined mood, pressing the flesh, meeting the odd baby and promising more such initiatives if Labour wins on May the 6th. But he also told Anglia Tonight people have responsibilities as well as rights.
I think we can do more to help people who are in that position. There are a number of chaotic and dysfunctional families in this country, and we've got to deal with the problems that they create. And that's why we've introduced also the Family Intervention Programme. It's tough love. We'll help you. If you want to hold your family together, we'll make it possible, but you've got to obey the rules that we are setting down for that to happen.
During a lengthy visit, Mr Brown was joined by his wife Sarah, Home Secretary Alan Johnson and Linda Bowman. The murder of her daughter, Sally-Ann, was solved using stored DNA. She's backing government plans to keep the DNA of cleared suspects for 6 years.
I can't understand why the Conservative Party would want to destroy DNA that's on the database. It just seems senseless and selfish and will only create more victims.
Beyond the posters, the battle buses and the carefully orchestrated arrivals, this is the reality of campaign politics for all politicians. Sitting on a plastic chair in a community centre, ramming home your message over and over again to ordinary voters. A current Labour MP, Barbara Follett, is retiring. Her successor will have welcomed today's visit. Sharon Taylor faces a tough fight, defending a majority of around 3,300. The Prime Minister also chatted to some of the teenagers who've been helped by local projects.
Back in the past, it used to not be a nice place, but now that we've got all the studio and recording, it keeps little people, or young people like me, out of trouble and stuff like that, really.
We need more places around like this around to get us all sociable and keep us off the streets. We get little young ones coming in and enjoying themselves. We've got computers in there, table tennis, we can play quick cricket, football, so it's a variety of sport really.
Other political bandwagons have also been rolling into our region. The Liberal Democrats' deputy leader and shadow chancellor Vince Cable studied at Cambridge University. Today he was back in the city to launch the Lib Dems Eastern Region campaign and support candidate Julian Huppert as the party tries to keep a seat it won in 2005.
David Howarth has really built up a very, very good reputation as a conscientious MP, a good parliamentarian, and exemplary in his dealings in expenses. So has our MP in Norfolk, North Norfolk, Norman Lamb. And they're admirable MPs. We have every expectation of getting back again with Rupert Huppert in Cambridge.
Just for the record, on this occasion, we're right and Mr Cable is wrong. It's definitely Julian Huppert. Gordon Brown is likely to be back in our region before this contest is over. Labour has seats here it must hold if it wants to continue in government after May the 6th.
Well, as you can see, Matt's here with us now. Matt, and as far as East Anglia is concerned, the election really beginning to hot up now.
Indeed, Jonathan. I felt it was a slightly slow burn start to this, but it is hotting up now. It's accelerating nicely. If you think that in the last 24 hours we've had David Cameron, we've had Gordon Brown, we've had Vince Cable, who for many people is the face of the Lib Dems. One thing I think is interesting is that all three of them have been in constituencies that their parties are very keen to hold on to, rather than ones that they're trying to win from other parties. It's like they're trying to kind of make sure their core vote is sorted to start with, if you like. And, of course, next week we'll have manifestos issued by the main parties. I think we'll be seeing more famous faces cropping up here then.
Matt, it's only going to get busier, isn't it?
It certainly is. And, Becky, away from the limelight, we concentrate on the big visits that we get. But when I drove down here from Stevenage, I passed about a dozen of those huge posters in farmers' fields urging me to vote for this one or that one. There's small armies of volunteers all over the region who are stuffing envelopes and knocking on doors and posting leaflets. some of them knowing that their candidate really has no chance of winning, some of them thinking that they can make a difference, and we're just going to see more and more and more of that over the next 3 weeks.
You'll be with it every step of the way as well.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So we've seen what's been happening out on the campaign trail today, but what of the growing importance of the online campaign? So serious, in fact, that today it saw one Labour candidate in Scotland being sacked for what he wrote on Twitter.
Our reporter Tom Barton is monitoring what politicians in the Anglia region are getting up to on the internet throughout the campaign. For today's Web Watch, he's been doing a bit of twittering, or tweeting, or is it twitching?
For the last couple of days, I've been twitching what people have been tweeting on Twitter.
It's one of the ways in which politicians are trying to stay in touch with the public, and many of our parliamentary candidates are hoping that voters will follow them to the polls.
According to the website Tweetminster, 122 of the wannabe MPs in our region are posting to the social networking site, a total of more than 17,000 messages between them.
So what are they saying? Well, if you want an insight into what it's like campaigning to be an MP, many of them are boasting about the number of hours they're spending knocking on people's doors. And, well, of course, some of them are already getting digs in at their local opponents.
And some, like Scottish Labour candidate Stuart McLennan, have gone too far. He's just been stripped of his candidacy for the Moray constituency because of unacceptable comments on Twitter. The online campaign isn't just taking place on Twitter, though. Google has been the focus of a key advertising battle. For example, if you search for Labour Party, a paid-for link to the Conservatives' website pops up.
Now, of course, these adverts cost the parties money each time somebody clicks on them, and the former Labour Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott has caused an online storm after he suggested that Labour supporters click on the Conservative advert to deplete the Tories' campaign coffers.
The Tories have also been attacking Labour with YouTube videos like this one, released on April Fool's Day.
Hello and welcome to the Department of Government Waste.
This election isn't, of course, just being fought online. Many of you will be getting those traditional leaflets through your doors, and this website is keeping a record of them and keeping an eye out for any offline dirty tricks. As for online dirty tricks, well, I'll be keeping a close watch for those.
Believe him, he will. And if you spot any election activity online that you want to tell Tom about, just drop him an email. It's tom.barton@itv.com, or you can tweet him at tombartonitv.
Now, in other news, a mentally ill woman was offered little help in the days before she killed her 6-week-old daughter